Welcome back. For lunch, I am having fried catfish, stewed potatoes and rice, green beans. I got some beets, and I have some buffalo sauce. And because I am having some fried catfish for my drink, I will be having some water. So there is a reason why I do not drink in public. When I drink, I like to drink in the comfort of my home, in my own space, in my own peace. I have a self rule. I do not hang out with single people. If you are not married, I will not be going with you anywhere. That is my self rule. The reason why is because, married people can't do the same thing that single people can do. So if you're single, I'm not about to be, going to a club with you, going to a bar with you. That's just something that I just don't do. That is my self rule. That is what keeps me, a married man, from getting in trouble. So that is my self rule. So to kind of fast forward a little bit. So this happened back in 2018. I was starting a new job. I was living in Colorado Springs, and my job was in Denver. So I had a 2 hour commute with traffic. You can always almost say 2 hours from Colorado Springs to Denver. It was a 2 hour commute. It was a 2 hour commute. And when I first got there, I was struggling a little bit to get back and forth to work. And I was to the point where I was like, selling stuff, to get back and forth just to get gas and all that other stuff, right? So luckily, I had a friend who lived maybe about 10 to 15 minutes away from me from Denver. And he totally did not mind, letting me catch a ride with him, whatever, right? So my friend, he was a Mexican, Hispanic. And not that it matters, but it does matter for the story. Knowing that my friend is Hispanic, right? So, we got to know each other a little bit. He cool people. His wife was in the military and he lived on a military base. And I lived in Colorado Springs in my little apartment. And at the time, my wife stayed back in New Orleans with the kiddos, getting ready to have birth, with my son. Right. So on the last day of training, he decides he wants to, have a little get together in Denver at a bar. And then I had another friend who was Greek who came with us. Now he lived he lived in Denver. He lived in Denver. And I really didn't want to go, but when you riding with somebody, you can't not really tell them, hey, I don't want to go or bring me home. So I had no choice but to tag along. I know some people use hot sauce for their fish, but I like buffalo sauce. So again, I did not have a choice but to tag along. So my friend, the Hispanic, he was not keep this in mind, right? So at the time of me going to the bar, I had just finished from being vegan for an entire year. I haven't had any meat, any alcohol, so my body was just very absorbent to anything that I put in my body at that time. Right. So he was like, Mel, I'm gonna be the designated driver. You can go ahead and, have a drink, whatever, right? So I got like a little small drink. I don't remember what it was. It was probably like some type of Moscow Mule. And I barely had like a cup. Probably the cup wasn't even smaller than this, right? I had a cup. And after that cup, I was out of it. Right? I was done. So my Hispanic friend, all of a sudden, I see him coming with a pitcher of bill for him. And I'm like, wasn't you supposed to be the designated driver? And he was like, oh, I'll be fine. So then While that's going on, my Greek friend, he hitting on a bunch of older women. I don't know what was going on with him. Like, these women were like maybe like 16 and 7. And keep in mind that the Hispanic friend, he was probably maybe like 22. The Greek friend was probably like 23. And at the time, I was like knocking on 30. I was probably right there. Way too young people for me to be hanging out with, right? So then the Hispanic friend, after he had his first beer, his wallet just busts open. Like, he's just buying drinks for everybody. Just going crazy with it. And I was already out of it after the first drink. And to show you how messed up he was, he's buying me drinks. I'm like, look, bro, I'm done. I'm done. You see, like, this cup has full of liquor in it. And he can't even tell that my cup was full. And I'm telling him I'm done. Right? So then I fall asleep. And then somebody came and woke me up. Was like, no, you can't sleep. It's time for y'all to go. So I go into the bathroom for a minute. I'm trying to make myself puke up, which I can't. I'm trying, but at that point, I'm sober. I'm sober, right? So then I come back out, and my Hispanic friend was like, "Here's $20. Catch your ride home." And I'm like, in my mind, I took the 20. By the way, I took the 20, but I'm like, dude, like $20 is not going to even get you down the street, right? And then, so I fast forward, I had to carry them to the car. Now, at the time in Denver, it was probably maybe like negative 15 degrees, which, normal for Colorado, right? Normal for Colorado. So my Greek friend, he starts peeing in somebody's yard while I'm carrying him to the car, right? And I'm just like, bro, this night is about to get worse. It's about to get worse. Look at these beats, y'all. I love beats. Love the beats. But, so, now he offered for me to drive, which I know I'm sober enough. I knew I was sober enough to drive. I just didn't feel comfortable driving somebody else's car. And so the Hispanic, he's driving his car home. Well, he's driving home, but he would not bring the Greek person home who lived right around the corner because he was so concerned about his wife being upset and how he was going to get back onto the military base, right? So the Greek friend pitched a ride to Colorado Springs when he lived right down the street in Denver, right? So then the entire time I'm in the backseat, I'm up. Dude swerving. I'm like, hey, bro, you swerving. So I'm like the lookout, like, you swerving. Like, there's a police right there. You swerving. Hey, like, keep it straight. Hey, wake up. So that's me the entire time in the backseat, right? And I'm like, in my mind, yeah, you was about to bring me home. Right? So then finally, I make it home to Colorado Springs safely. And then I'm texting, the Hispanic, my friend's wife. All right, hey, I told her everything. You know what? I wasn't a snitch, but I had to let her know what was going on, right? So then she texts me like, hey, what happened? I ain't never seen him like this before. Like, what is up? And all this, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, we just had a few drinks. And it's like it's negative 15 degrees. And I'm like, by the way, I texted them again, to making sure they made it home. And finally, an hour or two later, we all got home and everything. And I'm like, hey, where's the Greek dude? Like, how's he doing? And she like, what do you mean? Like, I'm like, he was in the car. And they forgot that man in the car overnight. And it was negative 15 degrees outside. Bro almost died of hypothermia. And I had offered to bring him back to work in the morning because I felt so bad it wasn't his fault that he got dragged to Colorado Springs all the way from Denver. And that is my reason why I don't drink in public. I don't go to bars.